A very good afternoon, everyone. I really hope you're all doing great and staying absolutely safe as well. उम्मीद है आप सब बहुत अच्छे होंगे. Would like to welcome you all to the session once again. That's a very important session on all of you. On your heavy demand, I'm bringing in sessions. Important government schemes which are recently seen in a lot of news. We will be talking about all the important facts which are associated with the government schemes. Various facts which are associated with them, we are going to be talking about that, and I am sure that you are all going to have a proper understanding. You're all going to have a proper clarity on this very platform of IAS Origin about the government schemes, And let me tell you one thing very precisely, that you always need to know what all to read and what all to not read, because you have limited time, you have limited energy, so you can't end up reading everything under the sun. You know this thing? ये बात तो आपको पता ही है that you cannot end up reading everything, so you have to be a bit choosy, and that is why these platforms are very much important in order to help you choose that what all to read and what to skip. So I can see a lot of students have already joined in. First of all, welcome to the session. To all the people who have joined in, hello Vinayak. So anybody else who can watch me clearly in this session, please do let me know. जो भी मतलब मुझे यहाँ पे clearly देख पा रहा है, please do let me know. It's going to be predominantly in English. Basically, it will be a bilingual session, but predominantly it is going to be in English, so that I am going to make sure that you guys have maximum understanding, and that is what our top priority is. कि आपको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा चीज़ें जो है समझ आनी चाहिए, वो बहुत important है. So can anybody tell me what all do you focus that you have to read in the government schemes? This very topic. Hi Arvind, hi Vanshika, everyone. Chalo, it's great to have you all in the session once again. But if I may ask you that what do you intend to read? Hello Navy, hi Freedom Dodmane. I'm clearly audible, right? Perfect. So tell me that what do you think is more important? Whenever we talk about this very topic, it's a very important topic, no doubt about it. But what are we supposed to read in government schemes? How do we prepare government schemes as a topic? That is what my question is. I hope you have understood my question. What is my question? My question is that what in the first place is anyone expected to know about the government schemes? That is the basic question. So whenever we are talking about the government schemes today, you have to know that we need to have decent idea about this, first of all. Secondly, you need to be very careful about this thing, that you are not skipping anything important. For example, for any government scheme, you have to have an idea about which ministry is implementing that government scheme. Secondly, you should also have an idea about the launch. At least year to pata hona chahiye, date nahi bhi pata hai, in which year it was launched. So these two things are important. And third thing is, of course, what is the target? What is the target area or target group of that particular scheme? Where exactly does it intend to focus? Where exactly does it intend to target? Where the improvement is required? All these things is going to be important. Clear, Hari? So I am hopeful that you are all now in a position to understand that whenever you're studying about this topic, what all are you expected or what all are you supposed to be reading from this topic of government schemes. That is quite important. So all the people who have joined me live in the session, make sure you add this session to your liked videos, so that later on you would be in a position to watch it. So like zarur kar dena, add this video to your liked videos. Now I have been getting a lot of queries that, sir, how do we get the PDF? I'm sure everybody wants to get the PDF. So you will be getting the PDF. The moment I end the session, within a few minutes, you will be getting the PDF on our Telegram channel. I'll tell you about the Telegram channel, don't worry. Okay? We'll certainly be talking about that. But what is more important is that as of now, just focus on the session. Abhi focus kare session pe. Then of course I'll be telling you, where do you get the PDF and everything, which is trivial. What is main is our understanding. So important government schemes we are going to be covering. This is the part 1. I'll be coming up with further parts also. This is important from prelims. This is important from the mains. This is important for UPSC, state pieces, every exam. this is such a topic which is important for every examination for that matter. You all are aware of this thing, and this is why we have been working on this session, and finally this session is in front of you. Okay, so I'm sure that you all are excited for the session. Everybody is up for the session. That's what I hope. Thank you, Vinayak. Hello, Navy, Mr. Everyone. I can certainly see a lot of people are so much enthused about the session. They are very much excited about the session, and I hope that I am able to give you quality content like always. Quality content मिलेगा आपको हमेशा की तरह. So make sure you all hit the like button and add this session to your liked videos. इसको अपनी like videos में you certainly can add. Do subscribe to the channel of IAS Origin, and this is the Telegram channel. So let me tell you, bete, this is the Telegram channel where you will be getting the sessions PDF. Either you can search IAS Origin, that is the name of the Telegram channel, or you can use this particular link, but the easiest way is scan this QR code. You can simply scan this QR code and you can join IAS Origin. Would that be easy for you? So I would request everyone to join this Telegram channel in order to get the PDF, because I'm sure PDF is very much important for your revision part. Sorry, man, PDF. It is PDF, right? So PDF you're going to be getting over here, IAS Origin channel. So because I have been getting so many queries, sir, when we will get PDF, where we will get PDF. So yahan pe you will get the PDF. Is that the solution now to all your problems? Okay. So see, I am always student centric. I just want my students to be gaining immensely, and that is what I try to do. मैं link दे दूंगा Telegram channel का, don't worry. So I'll be putting the link of the Telegram channel in the pinned chat also. That's what I can do. Okay. So this is where you get the PDF. So I hope that's absolutely fine now. So can you see the pinned comment? वहाँ पे Telegram channel का link you can find. When you click on that link, you will automatically go to the Telegram. So I think that is absolutely fine. So now let's get back to the topic. Everyone. So now it is going to be super easy for you. It is going to be super easy for you to get the PDFs. So PDF is not a problem. Let's focus on the problem statement. I would like to start with a very important scheme. This very scheme which is under the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Ministry of Agriculture. So first of all, always remember one thing. You got to be very clear about the ministry, bete. So Ministry of Agriculture, Farmer Welfare, Krishi Evam Kisan Kalyan Mantralay of the Government of India. This is the scheme which belongs to that particular ministry. Be very clear. It's super important. It's very much important, and you have to know that at any cost. You have to be understanding precisely. I'll talk about each and everything. Don't worry. Now, when I talk about this scheme, for every scheme, I'll be talking about the Ministry of Agriculture, Farmer Welfare, Digital Agriculture Mission. Now, remember this thing. What we have observed is that government came up with this mission. So when was it launched? It was in September 2024. So basically, it has been approved. Now, this outlay is not important. It is just written over here, but it is not that important, around 2800 crores. So recently, Union Cabinet has approved this. Now, you all know we talk about Digital India, bete. Do we talk about Digital India or not? Everybody talk about Digital India, Digital India. But what about our farmers? Don't you think the benefit of Digital India need to reach our farmers also, reach our farms also? So that is what the idea is. So I would request one thing, if I may, keep your pen paper ready. Make running notes also, which will help you to, maximize the gains which you can get from this session. You want to maximize the gains, you can maximize the gains when you have a pen and paper ready. So to everyone out there, please do that. You will be getting best, content over here, I can assure you, but keep a pen paper ready also. Anyways, now one thing is, the ministry, when was it launched? It's September 2024 it was launched. What is the purpose? It's to establish a comprehensive digital and space tech ecosystem for enhanced transparency and efficacy in the agriculture. In a way, what is the purpose? The purpose is that farmer-centric digital and space tech ecosystem we have to make in order to, make sure that we are having agriculture. So basically, the word you can see is digital plus agriculture. So we are trying to make our agriculture very much digital. Digital as in very much tech driven. The tech support has to be there. So who is the intended beneficiary? Who will benefit? Of course, our farmers will benefit. Our country's farmers are going to benefit. But how do we do that? That's the biggest question. So remember, it seeks to enable a robust digital agriculture ecosystem in the country. That is one thing. And we will talk about very important pillars. What all are the pillars of digital agriculture mission? We'll certainly talk about that in detail. इसके बारे में बात करेंगे. When we talk about the pillars, what all are the pillars on which this particular mission is based. That is certainly important, right? So ministry is very much clear. Now, when I talk about the foundational pillars of this mission, would like to tell you, make a note of it, bete. I took it from the PIB. PIB ki website se I took it. Two pillars are AgriStack and Krishi Decision Support System. So these are the two foundational pillars. We'll talk in detail. So remember, we are trying to use technology to improve farmers' lives through digital agriculture mission. It came up in September 2024. So now we'll talk more about these two foundational pillars, AgriStack and Krishi Decision Support System. Ready? So because this is important from prelims and mains both. So when we talk about this digital agriculture mission today, we are talking about these two foundational pillars, that is AgriStack and Krishi Decision Support System. It is known as DSS, Decision Support System. It is known as Kisan Ki Pehchan. So you got to understand, what is AgriStack all about? What is Krishi Decision Support System all about? We'll talk about that. When you talk about the AgriStack, ultimately, what exactly it is going to do? It is going to streamline services and scheme delivery to the farmers with three key components. Now, what are these three key components? What are these three key components? Let's talk about that, because certainly that is going to be super important for us. So, madam, I am just trying to make sure that I am giving you minutiae of the detail, which is going to be very much important. Okay. So, AgriStack's three main pillars are: first is farmer registry, second is geo-reference village maps, third is crop zone registry. These are the part of what? AgriStack. So what is farmers registry? Under AgriStack, farmer is going to be given a digital identity. Okay? So ultimately, it is like an Aadhaar card. Farmer registry is like Aadhaar card, but it is Aadhaar for farmers, similar to the Aadhaar card. So it is basically digital identity given to the farmer. That is what you need to understand. Geo-reference is what? Farmer ID. Now this particular ID is going to be linked to the what? State's land records. Okay. So ultimately, family details, everything is going to be linked. So we are going to link farmer registry to the state's land records, and crops sown by the farmers are going to be recorded through this mobile based ground survey software. Crop sown registry basically. So we will have a digital survey. So you got to understand, we will have a digital survey of what crops are being sown. Kya uga raha hai farmer? So ultimately, it is going to be done each season. So in each season of the crop, we are going to have this digital survey. So this is all part of what? It is all part of AgriStack. So AgriStack has these three components: farmer registry, geo-reference village maps and crop zone registry. I hope it's absolutely clear. समझ आया कि नहीं आया बेटे? I hope you guys are able to understand. So see, what I certainly want to tell is that this is super important from the exam, and we have to have a basic clarity on these points. Tomorrow you have part 2 also. What was next? It was Krishi Decision Support System, remember? Now, when we talk about the Krishi Decision Support System, what exactly is it all about? It has got various components like drought and flood monitoring system will be provided. We will have crop yield and insurance a part of this. We will have data on weather and satellite. We will have data on groundwater, availability, everything we will be having over here, which is quite important. So when we talk about Krishi Decision Support System, DSS, we have got all these things based on what Kisan or the farmer is going to have a proper decision making. Okay. So in a way, you just have to understand that we have got a broad scheme. Okay, the scheme is Digital Agriculture Mission. Under that, we have these two main pillars, AgriStack and Krishi Decision Support System. We have talked about both in brief, minute detail, and that is absolutely fine. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं आएगा आपको एग्जाम में. We have talked about each and everything. That is absolutely okay. Can we move ahead? So I am hopeful that everybody is able to understand the nitty-gritties which are involved. These are important things, and that is why we are talking about them. Make sure all the people who are watching the session do add this in your liked videos so that you can watch it later on. If you add it, if you hit the like button, this video will go to your liked videos and you can watch it later for your revision purpose also. Okay? Chalo, perfect. Moving ahead. Now I would like to talk about AgriSURE scheme. Very important this is. We talk about the AgriSURE scheme. Now this was also in a lot of, I would say news. It was all over the news, and that is why we are talking about that. So ultimately in the July, 2024, we saw that this scheme came up and everybody was very much happy when it came. So first of all, you have to understand this thing that it was back in July. So now what is more important is that we have to have a simple and straightforward point that related to the agriculture. Any scheme comes, it becomes important for us. ये मतलब important है ही है, इसमें तो कोई शक आपको होना नहीं चाहिए. It is super important for us. So in 2024 only, we have seen this scheme coming up. ये बात आप notice करिएगा. Now nobody is going to ask you the exact date, first of all, but around September. But you can see, 2024 में it was launched. Now what does that mean? It is Agri Fund for startups and rural enterprises. Now you got to understand one thing, that what is meaning of SURE? SURE. It is startup and rural enterprise. Ye dekho. What is Agri? Agri is this. So you can see that is how you remember the full form in such a topic, AgriSURE, Agri Fund for startup and rural enterprise. Is that clear? बात समझ में आई कि नहीं आई? This is the way you are supposed to know about this thing. मतलब decode कैसे करोगे? ऐसे करोगे. Now remember this thing. What is the main objective? The objective is to boost investment in the agri-tech and rural startups. So all the agri-tech startups, technology in the agriculture startup, we have to boost them. And of course, in the rural areas also, we have to make sure the technology is there. This is quite important. So it has been managed by whom? It has been managed by the NAB Ventures. It is backed by Government of India and NABARD. This is quite important. So NABARD का mainly इसमें role है. We have to understand that. Perfect, Teddy. So I am hopeful of this thing that at least you are getting a proper clarity. You all are getting a proper clarity on these aspects, which is quite important. Now, since we are talking of this particular scheme, let me tell you, startup and management of AgriSURE fund कैसे होगा, मतलब structure क्या होगा? Let's certainly talk about that. So what you got to understand is, no doubt, which ministry is there? We have got Ministry of Farmer and Agriculture Farmer Welfare. Then we have National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. And then this is the main idea. So we got to understand, fund is managed by NAB Ventures. So you have, different amounts. Total corpus is around 750 crores. That's a source, photo source is NABARD only. That's from where we get that information. So you just have to understand this particular point precisely. Getting it? So I hope this point is absolutely clear now. Nobody is having any iota of doubt over here. Is this session important? This session is super important, let me tell you. And these schemes have high probability which can appear in your exam as well. ये बात याद रख लेना. Very important. And secondly, in the comment section, you can see a comment has been pinned. At that comment is our Telegram channel where you get the PDF. So somebody was saying, sir, PDF कहाँ मिलेगी? तो मैं फिर से वही बता रहा हूँ बेटे. PDF जो है आपको, PDF you will get on the Telegram channel of IAS Origin, and you can see the link of this Telegram channel has been pinned in the comments. In the comment section, you can see the comment has been pinned. Got it? So I am hopeful that you are finding the session useful, bete. क्या आपको फायदा हो रहा है इस सेशन से? आई एम होपफुल. ओनली देन आई विल ब्रिंग मोर सच सेशंस. ठीक है, और सेशन सभी लाएंगे इफ दिस इज बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू. ओके, थैंक यू विनायक, थैंक यू सो मच. Now, whenever we talk about a very important one, that is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Now, everybody must be knowing this thing. Whenever we talk about the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, this is not a new scheme. It was launched way back in 2015. 2015 में we saw this was launched. Been 9 years. But recently, you have to understand that we have seen it in a lot of news, and that is why, it has been making a lot of headlines. So, what is more important is that why it has been in a lot of news. Let us talk about it. Some change in the structure was there. So, firstly, let me tell you, this Mudra Yojana is administered by Department of Financial Service, which is under Ministry of Finance. So, this is very much important because at times this question do come. So, it is a flagship scheme of Government of India, no doubt. And which ministry? It is Ministry of Finance. So, you should know it is Ministry of Finance which is looking after this particular scheme, that is PM Mudra. That's one thing. Ye clear hai? Second thing is, we have got various type of loans which are provided under this. Which is the category? We have Shishu loans, we have Kishore loans, and we have Tarun loans. You know this thing? So, if you have any loan which is up to like 50,000 rupees, that will be Shishu. If we have 50,000 to 5 lakh, it will be Kishore. And if any loan is there which is like 5 to 10 lakh, that is what? Tarun. ठीक है? Tarun is 5 to 10 lakh. Now the question is, what change do we observe now? ये तो clear हो गया आपको. Now we have seen a new category has been added. It has been added, new category, that is Tarun Plus. Tarun Plus. Now, what is Tarun Plus all about? When I say Tarun Plus ki category has been added. So, Tarun Plus, let me tell you that, see, Shishu was there, Kishore was there, Tarun was there. Tarun Plus ki category is loan above 10 lakh and up to 20 lakh. So, this category of Tarun is 10 to 20 lakh ke loans. 10 to 20 lakh loans are now covered under Tarun Plus category. So, that's why we can say PM Mudra ki, we can say that PM Mudra's upper limit has been increased up to 20 lakhs, which was 10 lakh earlier. PM Mudra. So, this is a very big development. This is a very important development for which we have to be aware about, right? So, this was in a lot of news. We saw that, it was in a lot, and that's the reason why we need to understand this. Though it was launched in 2015, no doubt. But because the upper limit has been lifted now to 20 lakhs, that is why it is important. So, from 10 lakh, it has been increased to 20 lakh. Back in 2014, it was done. So, this question, this direct question can be there in your examination and you have to answer that. So, ये बहुत important है. मतलब at time question comes ना कि PM Mudra में upper limit क्या है? What is the upper limit of the loans? So, now you got to understand that previous limit was 10 lakh, no doubt. But now, the new limit is 20 lakhs. हाँ जी, ये बताओ क्लियर हो रहा है? नाउ सच क्वेश्चंस हैव बीन आस्क्ड. ये वो मैं चीजें बता रहा हूं कि आपको ये पूछा गया है, पहले वी हैव सीन सच क्वेश्चंस कमिंग इन द एग्जामिनेशन. सो इट इज नॉट रैंडम फैक्ट्स व्हिच वी आर थ्रोइंग हियर एंड देयर. दिस इज प्योरली एग्जाम ओरिएंटेड स्टफ व्हिच यू आर गेटिंग इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सेशन बेटे. एंड दैट प्लेटफॉर्म इज IAS Origin. रिमेंबर, IAS Origin के प्लेटफॉर्म पे आपको मिल रहा है. टुमारो अगेन, remember, tomorrow again 12 PM class is there on the government schemes. It will be part 2 of that live class. So make sure you attend the live class. It will be very, very beneficial for you for your nice revision here. Nice revision you're going to be getting here. आगे बढ़े. Now let's move ahead and we talk about a scheme which is again important, and that scheme is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban 2.0. Now, I'll tell you something. Earlier, we had the 1.0 version of the scheme. 1.0 मतलब start हुई थी. So, flagship scheme of the Government of India, Ministry of Housing. It was back in 2015 it was launched. 2015 में, 2015 में it was launched. That is the 1.0 version. But recently in 2024, we have seen this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana 2.0. So you have to know this thing, that 2.0 has been recently launched, and which is the ministry, of course, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is the ministry, you know that. So at times, students do get confused in such schemes. You just have to understand, housing for all. So housing for all is the main idea which we look at. There's no rocket science involved. You just need to understand that Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, if we talk about rural and urban, they are totally different. ये बात आप याद रखना, ठीक है? So just imagine this thing. Now we are talking of what? Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana urban. If I may tell you about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, it is for housing only. Grameen or rural, Grameen. So Grameen is for, of course, rural, right? Rural housing. So which ministry are we talking about? Tell me. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen. It's a social welfare program, housing to rural poor in India. So my question is, which ministry are we talking about when I talk about ministry in this context? Now that's a very easy question. सोचो, बताओ. Easy है. It is Ministry of Rural Development, बेटे. It is Ministry of Rural Development. ठीक है? So Ministry of Rural Development is going to be there. So remember this thing always, that if in the question we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, then we are going to say that it is Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. If we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen, we have Ministry of Rural Development. It is as simple as that. I hope that brings some clarity. So because I know, a lot of time people say कि Mr. Ministry of Housing. So बेटे ये आपने हमेशा याद रखना है that, how do we look at these things? It's going to be very much important. हाँ जी, हुआ clear कि नहीं हुआ? So I hope now the idea is absolutely clear. Smart City Mission, no doubt. You can say कि sir, Ministry of Housing, Urban Development, yeah. But यहाँ पे you can't say, आवास में it is not going to play an important role. A lot of time, students do get confused. Students will get confused in this. So you have to have this idea clearly. ये बताओ clear हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? So प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना ग्रामीण जो है, I hope now you will never be able to forget the ministry which we have, everyone. So, such are the kinds of questions you can expect in the exam also. Exam में ऐसे questions आएंगे. So you have to know that. In fact, recently it was also in a lot of news. Grameen wali bhi was in a lot of news. But we'll talk about that. Don't worry. Let's talk on the next scheme. अगली scheme की बात करें. So if you study these things here, before the examination properly, in exam you are not going to face any significant problem. That's the best thing. Now, we talk about a very important scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Mahabhiyan. That is the one we are talking about. Yeah, that is PM KUSUM, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. This ministry is the one which is taking care of this particular scheme. I'm sure you must have heard about this. Now, when we talk about the PM KUSUM, if you know the full form of this, half of the task is done, because in the full form everything is there. It was introduced in, back 5 years back, PM KUSUM 2019 it was done. But again, it has been in a lot of news. So we'll certainly be talking about that. First of all, you got to understand that this particular scheme, it is going to be in place till 2026. So till 2026, we are going to be having this particular scheme going on. That's one thing. Okay. Secondly, you got to understand what is the aim. Main aim is to solarize agriculture and encourage investment in the solar energy sector by the farmer. ये बहुत important है. So when I talk about the PM KUSUM, you have to be aware of these aspects. Getting it? So what exactly is KUSUM all about? You have to know that thing. You have to understand that thing. That is what is required. So at times, a question will come on KUSUM, the full form you know, the ministry then you know, till 2026 it is then you know, and since inception 4 lakh diesel and electric water pumps have been replaced by the solar water pumps. That is the main focus, that how much solar energy farmer can use in their form, that can totally translate into a lot of carbon emission reduction. What we are tasking, what we are aiming to do, reduce the carbon emission, right? So that ways we can reduce the carbon emission simply. Can we do that? So this is what the idea is, bete. So this is why it was in a lot of news. But you just need to know the ministry when it was introduced, until 2026 it is going to be there in place. Are I samajh? So I am hopeful, you know, you guys are in a position to understand each and everything precisely. That is important, very important in fact. Okay, moving ahead. Now, would like to talk about National Program for Civil Services Capacity Building, that is Mission Karmayogi. This was actually, you know, something which was in a lot of news. So you should know, you know, we have got a Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions. This ministry, Ministry of Personnel, very important ministry this is. So you have to know this aspect very, very clearly. Yeah. So this scheme is under this particular ministry. That's one thing. So when we talk about the capacity building mission, you know, it was back in 2021, it came into prominence. It is a part of National Program for Civil Services Capacity Building. Mission Karmayogi has completed 3 years in 2024. So that is why it was in a lot of news. You got to understand. And it is basically for the further training of civil servants. Those who are already serving, how do we help them become better and better in discharge of their services? It is about that. So first of all, you are supposed to know it is Ministry of Personnel. Secondly, it is capacity building mission. So you got to understand this thing. Since it has completed 3 years, ये बहुत ज़्यादा important था. ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. And all civil servants जो हैं across different ministries are going to be trained. That is what the idea is. Our idea is to transform Indian civil services, you know, capacity building landscape into a robust system. Now, let me tell you one thing, you know, it has got offline classroom programs and online components also. And a very nice learning program we have got. When we talk about its salient features, it is known as Vikas, Variable and Immersive Karmayogi Advanced Support. Vikas बहुत important है. So, all in all, you just have to understand one thing, that we have to have a basic understanding of this idea, and that will always be very much important. But you have to understand this thing, that whenever we are talking of this Mission Karmayogi, it has got proper policy, it has got framework, it has got a lot of online, offline modules. All these things are very much important. बस इतना आप ध्यान में रख लेना. ठीक है? Nothing much about it. Now, as we have already discussed, by the way, we talk about the Pradhan Mantri AgriSURE Yojana, but it is for rural, it is Gramin. So that's why it is under Ministry of Rural Development. We have already talked about that. Ministry of Rural Development it is going to be. So I am sure about one thing, at least now you will not be facing any problem in that respect. Like Pradhan Mantri AgriSURE Yojana Urban, it was Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Similarly, when we talk about the Gramin, it is Ministry of Rural Development. So I hope now you are able to relate properly. Now you are able to relate to this thing. It was launched back in 2016, bete. Pradhan Mantri AgriSURE Yojana Gramin we are talking about. So it is about what? It is about enhancing living amenities, women empowerment, upliftment of the poor. So we are trying to focus on poor. We are trying to focus on women empowerment. We are trying to focus on living amenities. Basically essential amenities they may be having. That essential facilities they should have. That is what our focus is. They should be having essential amenities or essential facilities. That is quite important. समझ आ गया इतना? So you should always remember Ministry of Rural Development के अंदर आती है प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना ग्रामीण. Housing for rural poor. For the people who are staying in the rural areas, how do we give them housing? That is what the main idea is. Clear hai ji? So I am hopeful of this thing that the Josh is high, and everyone, make sure you join us. IAS Origin का जो Telegram channel है ना, I've given the link in the comment section. Make sure all the people out there are going there and joining that, because you will be getting the PDF only there. Anywhere else you will not be getting the PDF. PDF आपको सिर्फ और सिर्फ वहीं पे मिलेगा. So only if you are joining that, you will be in a position to get the PDF as well. चलो, आया समझ में? ठीक है, चलो. So I'm glad about one thing at least, that all of you are in a position to understand the nitty-gritties. Every small nitty-gritties which we are talking about, you are able to understand them. That is more important than anything else. क्योंकि देखो, आप कोई भी चीज अगर पढ़ रहे हो and if you are not understanding that, then it is of no use, है ना? So we need to understand also. Everything has to be understood by us properly. Sure. Shall we move ahead? Okay. Now we talk about Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Very important this is. Kisan Sampada. So first of all, you got to understand it is Ministry of Food Processing Industry. Now that is the first question which will come regarding Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Kya hai? What is Kisan Sampada Yojana? It is related to the food processing. Okay. Now this scheme again has been in a lot of news, so we'll certainly be talking about that. But first of all, you got to understand that PM recently appreciated this scheme. Why? Because ultimately it is transforming food processing sector in India. This is a scheme, remember, this is a scheme which is transforming what? Food processing sector which we have in India. फूड प्रोसेसिंग सेक्टर को कौन ट्रांसफॉर्म कर रही है? संपदा योजना कर रही है. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. It has provided big boost to the, what is food processing? You are a kisan, you are a farmer, you have produced some food and we need to add some value to it. We need to process that. That is the idea. So remember the tenure always, like 2021-22 till 2025-2026. So ये बहुत important है that this scheme is still active. This particular scheme is very much active. What is the objective? We are making sure we have efficient supply chain management from farm gate to retail outlet, providing better returns to the farmer, reducing the wastage. That is the main aim, right? So you have to be aware of this particular point. Very important, we'll make clusters and all. So ultimately you have to understand this particular thing, that कभी भी हम लोग अगर बात करते हैं, you have to have a basic idea about these aspects. But all these schemes that, which ministry and all that, you have to have this idea. One more I would like to talk about, इसमें इतना बहुत है. समग्र शिक्षा अभियान, SSA, समग्र शिक्षा अभियान, which is under Ministry of Education, integrated scheme for school education we're talking about. It's quite important. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. It's a centrally sponsored scheme. States and the central government, they are going to pool their funds together for that. Secondly, you got to understand, it is about improving the school education from preschool to class 12. So that is a big thing, that, from the preschool, starting of school, nursery vagara, to class 12, we are going to transform the school education. Entire school education पे focus करते हैं. So you have to understand this, implement agency will be at the state level. Center will provide some funds by the state. Tenure आप याद रखना, 2021 till 26. So abhi still it is active. That is why we are talking about that. And what is the objective? Objective is access to, quality education. That is one thing. And promoting the vocationalization, skill aspect should be there. Teacher training should be there. That is very much important. So, how states are going to implement, center always will support them. Preschool to class 12, we are going to focus. And you have to just understand one thing, that whenever we talk about Samagra Shiksha, we are talking about Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Now, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is what? It is a component. Sub scheme ही तो है. राष्ट्रीय माध्यमिक शिक्षा अभियान, school, teachers training. So you have to understand this thing, that it has got these three components, that is Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Now, first of all, let me tell you what is Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is access to elementary education to all. Okay, right to education is a fundamental right. We're talking about that. Then we have Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha, access to secondary education. So here we are focusing on what? Elementary education. We are focusing on the elementary education. Then we talk about the middle education, जो होती है secondary education basically. Secondary education, we are going to be talking about Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, RMSA. And what is next? Next is teacher education. How do we train teachers properly? That is also important. It is teachers education or training. So all these are a part of Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. ये आप याद रखना. So what would be the funding pattern? हालांकि इस पे question आएगा नहीं, but you got to understand, funding pattern depends on the state to state. So it has to be like that. For example, usually it is 60-40 ratio. But if it is a northeastern state or special category state, so we have observed 90-10 भी होगा, 90 center, 10 state. So normally क्या होता है, 60 is given by the central government and 40% by the state. So normal ratio is always going to be, because it's a centrally sponsored scheme, it will be 60-40 ratio. 60 by the center, 40 by the state. But in the special category states, we'll have 60 by the center, 90 by the center and 10 by the state. Himachal Pradesh हो गया, different states हैं, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, like that. And of course, different northeastern states, including Sikkim, यहाँ पे 90-10 ratio रहेगा. Okay, is that clear? So any particular doubts you have, you surely can let me know. So I'm hopeful that you have gained immensely. So you can have these questions, about the ministry, you can have question about when it was introduced. All these questions you can expect in the exam. Remember. And ultimately, see, my idea is very much basic, that whatever the content is being given to you here, it should be exam oriented. That is what the focus is. So we are always focusing on this particular aspect. Remember this thing. Thank you, Manav Shukla. It means a lot, bete. It certainly means a lot. So all the people who are still in the class, make sure you add this video to your liked videos by hitting the like button. Like button hit karke, add this particular video to your liked video, so that later on also you can watch that easily. ऐसा ना हो कि बाद में मिले ही ना, ये भी होता है कई स्टूडेंट्स का होता है कि सब मिल नहीं रही थी. So I don't want you guys to suffer from that particular syndrome. So make sure you add this video to your liked videos. That's important. And regarding the PDF, once again, let me be very clear that you all are eligible to get the PDF. So first of all, thank you for joining the class. यहाँ पे you'll get the PDF, okay? एक मिनट. So this is the Telegram channel of IAS Origin. Here you get the PDF of this very class. ये link है Telegram channel. This is the Telegram channel's name, and you can either scan and join that easily. You can join this particular. So I hope that's clear to you guys, everyone. है ना? Chalo, perfect. So that's very much from my side. I hope you guys have enjoyed the session. I hope you guys have gained something out of session, which is very much important. Gaining something out of session is the very important thing. So make sure आप इसका फायदा जरूर लें. जी. Got it, ji? So can I assume whatever I have taught in the class, that's absolutely clear. जी. कोई specific doubts हैं आपके, you can ask. In case there is any doubt which you guys have, you surely can let me know. वैसे I assume that things should be very much clear. Tarun Plus, bete, what is Tarun Plus? See, normally till Tarun we are having the 10 lakh upper limit. ये तो क्लियर हो ही गया होगा, ठीक है. समझ आया कि नहीं आया? सो तरुण प्लसेस उसी अपर लिमिट को हम 20 लाख पे ले गए. दैट इज व्हाट द आइडिया इज. चलो, क्लियर हो गया? थैंक यू सो मच.